Part 152. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1511. Tianhu said excitedly, her face gradually turned red as she spoke. She believed in her own vision. She had chosen to fight against Fang Fan before, but what happened in the end? The soldiers were lost and the generals were lost, and even he himself saved his life by taking the life insurance money. Later, when the Heavenly Sword Palace united with all forces to encircle and suppress Fang Fan, she resolutely chose not to be a minion. What was the final result? Their 10,000 monsters alliance was unscathed, and they also gained two powerful allies. But now, is he going to push such an ally away? What's the point? The white-haired old man groaned for a while, and did not speak for a while, but shifted his gaze to the elder Tianying. He knew very well that Tianying was not the kind of person who didn't know right from wrong. Human Emperor's palace fought against Haoshan Pavilion several times. Those flying warships and warships were all captured from Haoshan Pavilion. According to the news just now, Human Emperor's palace once captured the son of the owner of Haoshan Pavilion. Elder Tianying fell silent after saying this, and there is no need to say more about the rest, as you understand everything. At this moment, such thoughts were churning in my mind, and they all fell silent. This Fang Fan really looks like a young hero, a rare talent. If things go smoothly, the future will be limitless in time. The white-haired old man frowned and commented. Ymir couldn't help showing excitement on her face. The old ancestor is on her side. Old ancestor, what do you mean? Should we form an alliance with the Human Emperor Palace? As Tianhu spoke, she puffed out her chest arrogantly, and subconsciously glanced at Elder Tianying, as if she was demonstrating. Elder Tianying shrugged helplessly, and then sighed. The matter of forming an alliance, let's let it go first. Girl Meyer, that Fang Fan is indeed the proud son of heaven, but only the proud son of heaven who can grow up has the right to speak, and the one who fell halfway, after 100 years, who will remember? Haoshan Pavilion, even in Qingtian Sanctuary, is the overlord. Elder Tianying is right, our 10,000 Monsters Alliance does not have the qualifications to fight against Haoshan Pavilion. We are about to go to the battlefield of the gods, and we will definitely encounter the Haoshan Pavilion's army at that time. If we form an alliance with Fang Fan's Human Emperor's palace now, then our 10,000 Monsters Alliance will not be able to get away. That's it, this matter ends here. Patriarch Bailey squinted his eyes secretly. He had to proceed from the fundamental interests of the 10,000 Monsters Alliance, which was inevitable. Take the entire 10,000 Monsters Alliance as a bet? He can't afford to lose. Old ancestor. This is really an opportunity. If we can fight side by side with Fang Fan this time, we will definitely be able to gain his trust, which is equivalent to being tied to each other's chariots. Once the Human Emperor's palace rises, we will definitely be able to gain his trust. The Demon Alliance can also benefit a lot. Such a great opportunity, why should we miss it? Besides, isn't it great to have a powerful ally to rely on the battlefield of God's war? Tianhu was still making her last effort, her eyes turned red as she spoke, her thoughts gradually became real. It's just that no one is paying attention at the moment. This matter has been decided, don't mention it again. Bailey Patriarch, the white-haired old man, snorted coldly, and his attitude suddenly changed from the benevolent one just now to the frosty one. Sister Tianhu, stop talking, the ancestor is angry. Baelixi rolled her eyes, quickly pulled Tianhu aside, and said with concern. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1512. Tianhu sighed softly, then stood aside silently. She knew that she had said so much, but it was still useless, no one would listen to her at all. What Patriarch Bailey saw was only immediate benefits. Or, simply do not want to take risks. The team is running steadily towards the Qingtian sanctuary, and at this moment, more and more major forces are joining this team. This time, the ultimate goal of the Nangonglei envoy of the Rage God Alliance Temple is to gather the major forces. His thoughts are very clear, and his purpose is also very clear. Fang Fan roughly estimated that this team has almost gathered 4 third-rank forces, dozens of 4th-rank forces, and several 5th-rank forces. Human Emperor's Palace is one of these dozens of 4th-rank forces. And the overall number of troops is also growing at a terrifying rate. Generally, a 3rd-rank force will bring tens of millions of true king-level soldiers and hundreds of thousands of emperor-level elite soldiers. There is a high probability that a 4th-rank force will bring millions of true king-level soldiers and tens of thousands of emperor-level elite soldiers. A 5th-rank force will bring hundreds of thousands of soldiers from the real king's realm and thousands of elite soldiers from the emperor's realm. The number of this army has reached a terrifying 7 or 8 billion. A glance at the past, densely packed, all of them are human heads. This is only a part of the strength of the War of Gods. Fang Fan has already been able to see how huge the scene will be when the War of Gods really starts. The real king realm is cannon fodder, the emperor master realm is an ordinary soldier, the quasi-saint realm is a general, and the sanctuary is barely qualified to stand on such a battlefield. Fang Fan secretly narrowed his eyes, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. Anyway, his ultimate goal of participating in the Battle of Gods this time is to accumulate enough power of the gods, and then complete the initial task of Latent to become the 4th-rank Archbishop of the Temple of the Alliance of Light. In order to accomplish this, one must first establish combat exploits. Broken Soul Demon Realm, the banner of Broken Soul Demon Realm, is the flag of Broken Soul Demon Realm. The army of Broken Soul Demon Realm is coming. I don't know who yelled, causing the entire space to vibrate. Everyone's eyes gathered here, and their eyes showed panic and uneasiness. From their will, a kind of fear can be clearly seen. Although this organized army has hundreds of millions, the number does not represent combat effectiveness. This is a loose alliance. When there is no major blow, this loose alliance can still maintain stability, but once there is any major change, the situation will quickly reverse. The more people, the more chaotic. Calm down. Calm down. Ready to fight? The enemy is in sight. The opportunity to make contributions has come. At the moment, the bright contribution token has not been issued yet, and the contribution points cannot be counted, but this messenger hereby guarantees that the head of a practitioner of the Broken Soul Demon Realm will be exchanged for equivalent contribution points. The opportunity is right in front of you. What are you waiting for? Fight, fight, fight. Nangonglei, the envoy of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, rushed over with a solemn expression on his face. With his roar, the surrounding area barely maintained stability. Most importantly, with the temptation of contribution points. For these cultivators of the major forces who participated in the Battle of Gods, it would be nonsense to say 1,000 words and 10,000, and say how much they believe in the gods of light. Who would believe it? The most practical thing is to contribute. Contribution points can be exchanged for everything you want. The power of God, the power of faith, weapons, pills, exercises. Even, become a priest of the Temple of the Alliance of Light. Each of these piles is enough to make them feel excited. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 1513. Soul Broken Demon Realm and Qingtian Sanctuary confront each other. If the Qingtian Sanctuary is the site of the Light Camp, then the Broken Soul Demon Realm is the site of the Dark Camp. Fight against each other, vow not to give up. The once in 10,000-year battle of gods will completely vent the hatred accumulated for thousands of years. With the will of the gods, start a desperate battle. My son-in-law, this battle, I'm afraid it won't be so easy to escape. Chen Tianyuan, the patriarch of the Chen Tian clan, took a breath, and looked around with his eyes, looking a little cramped. Fang Fan nodded approvingly. Our army has hundreds of millions of people, but it's just a mess, and the combat power is greatly reduced, and most of them are from the real King realm. The Imperial Master Realm's combat strength is only a few million. Compared to the army of the Broken Soul Demon Realm, although their number is a little smaller, only more than 10 million, but all of them are from the Emperor's realm. And, the high-end combat power is also stronger. Fang Fan muttered to himself, the corners of his mouth raised silently, and his eyes became sharper. Fighting opportunities are carried out in an instant. The army of the Emperor's Palace and the army of the Chen Tian clan are wrapped up together, and they are comrades in arms. Fighting each other can also reduce some losses. In the turbulent battle of the large army, being able to maintain stability is the major prerequisite for victory. The more than 10 million elites of Broken Soul Demon Realm stabbed at them like a pair of scissors, looking extremely sharp. Although the light camp has a large number of troops, it is more or less unsustainable to be attacked suddenly. Especially after the troops in front were defeated, it caused a chain reaction to the troops behind. When the wave of defeat came together, the situation collapsed. The envoy of the Temple of the Light Alliance, Nanggong Lei, who was in the Chinese army, was also extremely anxious at the moment. No retreat. No retreat. Attack. Attack. We have the superior force. We will definitely be able to defeat the enemy army in Broken Soul Demon Realm. Fight to the death. Kill. 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 The contribution points of the temple are ready. Gentlemen, please fight to the end. Nanggong Lei was on the verge of hoarseness, and the yelling gradually became nothingness. The whole battlefield was a mess. After suffering a wave of heavy losses, a certain order was maintained in front of the army of the light camp. At this moment, the more than 10 million elites of Broken Soul Demon Realm formed a small team, and unexpectedly launched a surprise attack from all directions. Hundreds of millions of troops from the light camp were surrounded by more than 10 million troops from the Broken Soul Demon Realm. What a joke! The army of the light camp is like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered, weakly enduring crazy blows again and again, but the strength of the counter-attack is very small, gradually making the army of Broken Soul Demon Realm even more rampant. My lord, the red-robed Dark Angel, you are right. These troops of the light camp are really vulnerable. Under the combined attack of our troops from the Broken Soul Demon Realm, they were completely defeated. We will be able to wipe them all out this time. Beheading the hundreds of millions of troops from the light camp, at that time, the red-robed Dark God Envoy must be a great achievement. Don't forget to promote him. In the army group of the Broken Soul Demon Realm, a middle-aged man wearing a grey-black robe said flatteringly that such a good opportunity to curry favor does not come at any time. It is really not good to be able to seize such an opportunity this time. Easy. The person in front of him is a big shot in the Dark Temple. If they can be wooed, their power will be able to rise to the top. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1514. Hee, don't worry, I won't treat you badly. Just follow me, there will be plenty of opportunities. Let's go. Let's make the final blow. The middle-aged man in the red robe, known as the Red Robe Dark Angel, waved his hands with arrogance. The allied forces of the light camp were surrounded by the counterattack. Surrounded by soul-broken Demon Realm's army, whose number is only 1/50th of his own, this is simply a great irony. And now, this ironic situation is in front of us. In all directions, it is riddled with holes. The Human Emperor's Palace army led by Fang Fan and the Chen Tian clan army led by Chen Tianyuan almost guarded the left end of the entire army. The army of Human Emperor Palace is less than 100,000. The army of the Chen Tian clan has 30 million, but the elite of the Emperor's realm is as high as hundreds of thousands. As for those rushing towards the left wing, there are 3 million cultivators of the Emperor Master realm from the Dark Camp. Comparing only with the number of cultivators in the Sovereign realm, they are completely at a disadvantage. As for the soldiers of the True King realm, they are nothing but cannon fodder on such a battlefield. It is easy for a cultivator of the Emperor Master realm to kill hundreds of real King realm cultivators. My son-in-law, the enemy, is too strong. I can't bear it, I can't bear it. Chen Tianyuan took a deep breath, sharp rays of light flickered in his eyes, and suddenly felt boundless bitterness. The situation collapsed. Non-war crimes. On the real battlefield, the competition is the number of elite soldiers in the Emperor's realm. The fighting power of hundreds of millions of soldiers in the real King realm is sometimes not as good as that of a million soldiers in the Emperor's realm. Don't worry, there will be no problem. Father-in-law, let the troops of the Chen Tian clan guard the two sides, and let the battlefield in the middle be my Human Emperor's hall. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, the flames of war were burning in his eyes. At this moment, instead of feeling any sense of panic in his heart, on the contrary, there was more of a sense of joy. How many Dark Camp troops are there, is how many small treasuries. As far as he is concerned, beheading a soldier of the Dark Camp can explode some God Crystal Star cores and various cards. Supporting war with war has always been a tradition of the Human Emperor's Hall. Fang Fan breathed out a foul breath, and his eyes gradually tightened. In addition to these obvious benefits, he can also collect a wave of contribution points. This is even more exciting. Contribution points are linked to the source of God. No. My son-in-law, I know you want to share the pressure for me, but this is absolutely not possible. Your Human Emperor's Palace has only 100,000 troops, and the enemy's attack at the center of the left wing is the most violent. Even if you defend it, you will suffer heavy casualties. Phew, I absolutely won't allow it. Chen Tianyuan waved his hand quickly, his eyes gradually became calm. Fang Fan smiled calmly. He naturally knew that this father-in-law was doing it for his own good, but it was really unnecessary. Don't worry, I don't have diamonds, and I don't do porcelain work. This kind of people can't hurt my elite. On the contrary, with so many people blocking my way, I really can't launch a full-scale attack. After all, it may cause friendly fire. Fang Fan smiled frankly, looking extremely indifferent. He still had this bit of confidence. Chen Tianyuan was silent for a while, then shook his head silently, and smiled wryly. Then be careful, if you can't hold on anymore, tell me immediately. Having regained the initiative on the battlefield, Fang Fan began to fully deploy. Although the enemies in front of him are all from the Emperor's realm, and there are 3 million elites from the Emperor's realm on the left wing, they may not be invincible. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1515. Fang Fan thought so far, his eyes gradually became sharper. Those in the Dark Camp are all elites, and the major legions under his command are not fools. War. Low Heavy Machine Gun Corps. Fire Suppression. Yellow Turban Warlock Legion, Call for Sacrifice. Summon Skeleton Soldiers. Blood Azura Legion. Snipe and kill the opponent's general above the quasi-holy realm. The remaining 7 legions, join forces. Vega, gather dark magic. Prepare for large-scale destructive magic. Daji, long-range magic support. Caitlin. Aim at the opponent's quasi-sacred land and kill. Garen. Kyle. Jax. Lead the slave army to charge. The Human Sovereign Legion, then strangle. 4 favorites, Na Yan, follow me to kill. Fang Fan roared continuously, and started the most precise strategic deployment. The whole army goes to war. Gather the troops in the middle of the left wing and be responsible for the most violent impact. As the orders were issued, the smiles on the corners of Fang Fan's mouth became more and more frequent, and the willpower in his heart suddenly increased at this moment. 3 million elites from the dark camp rushed over. There are Chen Tian clan troops guarding the left and right sides, but there is no need to worry about being surrounded by the enemy. Fang Fan only needs to focus on the battlefield in front of him. The roar of rounds of law bullets gradually came, and the elite soldiers of the Emperor's realm from the dark camp fell down one by one. Boom! Rumbling. 50 giant flying warships and a small flying warship, together with the god and demon warships, are all shooting the god crystal cannon and star core cannon crazily. The shells landed one after another, burning the ground into pieces of scorched earth. Sacrifice call. Guan Hai led the Yellow Turban Warlock Legion to recite the obscure incantations, and then bloody skeletons gradually emerged from the ground. They held bone knives and bone swords, and started a new round of attack. Under the leadership of Galen, Kyle, and Jax, the 3 supreme quasi-sacred heroes, the Slave Legion directly killed the past, and the battle was soaring in an instant. The scene is shocking for a moment. A series of attacks came, and battles broke out in an instant. The dark camp practitioners who were sprinting so bravely stopped in an instant. They raised their heads and looked at everything in front of them blankly. This was far different from what they had expected. In other words, the scene is wrong. How wrong? They have millions of elite emperors, but they actually stopped in front of these 100,000 people. If you want to sprint forward, you can only move forward with difficulty. Everything seems extremely painful. No. The real situation is not like this. Aren't the soldiers of the light camp a bunch of idiots? These idiots, how come they become stronger now? Who knew? I died as soon as I rushed over. I really couldn't hold on. Who says it's not? Hey, the envoy of the gods still let us continue to attack. Isn't this humming a joke with our lives? Didn't you see those weird weapons? We will be killed and injured in a matter of minutes. As soon as we rushed over, we were all killed. And they still have 50 giant flying warships and 2 small flying warships. They can't hold it. No more fights? Let's fight with a hammer. If you can win, it's okay to fight. This is obviously a losing game. What are you going up for? Going up to die? My head is so hard. It's just completely meaningless fighting. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1516. The soldiers of the dark camp are not all a group of steel beasts, they also know pain and feel pain. My companions and comrades in arms fell one by one in front of me. I knew that rushing over would be death, so why did I continue to rush? The low heavy machine gun corps is still firing continuously, continue to expand the results of the battle. 50 giant flying warships, a small flying warship and a god and devil warship gathered, thousands of god crystal cannons and star core cannons fired a salvo, and the power caused was also extremely strong. 50 giant flying warships, this is 50 quasi-sages attacking at the same time. That small flying battleship and Fang Fan's god and devil battleship are even more invincible. The battle scenes were once shocking. After beating the soldiers of the Emperor's realm in the dark camp, they also know how to retreat. Looking at the entire battle situation. Forward, right wing, rear wing, all collapsed. The rout is still intensifying, and the battle has become a joke. At this moment, only the left-end battlefield guarded by Renhuangdian and Chentian clan is still as stable as Mount Tai. Although the Chentian clan has gone through a catastrophe, they are a third-rank force after all. At this moment, it is not a big problem to mobilize 30 million soldiers from the real King realm and hundreds of thousands of soldiers from the Emperor Master realm to protect the left and right sides of the battlefield at the left end. The most difficult center position was taken by Fang Fan's human emperor's palace, and he continued to expand outwards in a massacre attitude, and continued to expand the results of the battle. Good fight. Good fight. Who played the left-wing center? Beautiful play. Among the Chinese army, Nangonglei, the envoy of the Temple of the Light Alliance, yelled excitedly, after experiencing a lot of blows, feeling the victory this time, there will be a sense of joy in his heart. His temporary commander-in-chief was too embarrassing. After being defeated again and again, seeing that the whole situation is about to collapse, seeing the counter-attack situation on the left battlefield at this time, I suddenly feel confident. If the situation continues to deteriorate like this, it will be obvious what will happen next. To put it bluntly, it is very likely to collapse directly. At that time, the entire army will be defeated and flee, and the entire army will really be useless. 7 or 8 million troops, including 7 or 8 million elite soldiers of the Emperor's realm, plus hundreds of millions of ordinary soldiers of the real King realm, may not be stronger than the more than 10 million elite soldiers of the Emperor's realm in these dark camps. Lo! It's just that he was suddenly stunned, and the cultivators of all major forces are full of evil intentions, and it is impossible to fight with all their strength. It is like a mess of loose sand, giving the enemy an opportunity to take advantage of it. Master Messenger, the left-wing center is Fang Fan, the lord of the human emperor's palace, who is personally leading the team to guard. A cultivator from the Temple of the Light Alliance went to inquire about a wave of information, and then rushed back to report. Fang Fan, the lord of the emperor's hall? I have an impression, he has less than 100,000 real king and emperor realm troops under his command. How did you resist the attack of millions of elite soldiers from the dark camp on the left? This son is extraordinary. Nangonglei, the envoy of the Temple of the Light Alliance, was thinking in his heart, and his eyes flickered. If I remember correctly, when I chose to join the Battle of the Gods, the Master Fang Fan made a contract with the gods. He was invincible in the Battle of the Gods, and he swore to die. He also had unlimited faith in the gods of light. This is my alliance of light. The great fortune of the temple. While commenting, Nangonglei's face gradually turned red. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1517. The whole army, follow the example of Hall Master Fang Fan and the army of the Emperor's Hall. Fight to the death. Nangonglei let out a roar, and his eyes became sharper, looking at Fang Fan full of appreciation. This son's future is limitless. You have a good command of the army, and the more important thing is, you have a special belief in the gods of light. If you train well in the future, you will definitely be able to become a leader in the light camp. Nangonglei, the envoy of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, thought in his heart, and the smiles on his face became more and more. Such thoughts were churning in his mind, and everything became so real. For the army of the light camp, although most of the entire battle situation has collapsed, the left wing is still supporting, and it has also played a certain climate. On the contrary, the oppressive enemy is retreating steadily, which stabilizes the overall battle situation to some extent. Dark camp. Asshole. Asshole. What the hell is going on? Why hasn't the camp of light been defeated yet? Zaku. You trash. Trash. What do I need you for? Qi Lian, the red-robed dark envoy of the Dark Temple, glared fiercely at the middle-aged man in black-gray robes in front of him, and his words were full of derogatory words. Zago, a middle-aged man in a black and grey robe, gradually turned gloomy and cold, and the corners of his mouth twitched unnaturally, a killing intent flickered in his eyes. The bastard! Do you really regard yourself as his subordinate? After all, he is also the deputy suzerain of the Black Sky Demon sect. The Black Sky Demon sect is also an upright second-rank force. Otherwise, how can we recruit tens of millions of elite emperors? You are just the third-rank red-robed Dark Envoy of the Dark Temple. Above you, there are second-rank Cardinal Dark Envoys and the Supreme Dark Demon Emperor. The Black Sky Demon sect is a second-rank force, and the target is naturally the second-rank Cardinal Dark God Envoy. Of course, the auction of the Dark Temple is there, and the status will naturally be raised to a higher level. So even a third-rank red-robed Dark Envoy of the Dark Temple can reprimand a second-rank deputy suzerain at will. Zago, the deputy lord of the Black Sky Demon sect, looked ugly for a while, and he was sure to wipe out the idiot in front of him in an instant. How many times stronger is his fighting power than this idiot? But because of the disparity in identities, he had to choose to be silent, continue to be silent. Even if the anger in my heart has already reached the extreme. But at this moment, we still have to continue to endure. This is the ideology of the moment. Humble, but true. Master Red Robe Dark God Envoy, please give me a chance. I will kill the enemy on the left wing myself, and then make the whole battle situation collapse. Zaku, the deputy master of the Black Sky Demon sect, took a deep breath, his eyes flickered with anger. Humph. I hope you won't let me down again this time. You have to know that this envoy represents the will of the Dark Temple. If you offend the Dark Temple, even if your Haitian demon sect is a second-rank force, you will definitely be destroyed. I hope you don't mistake yourself. As Qi Lian, the third-ranked red-robed Dark Envoy of the Dark Temple, spoke, his face became more and more arrogant, and his defiant attitude was completely revealed in his words. Although Zago, the deputy lord of the Black Sky Demon sect, was already furious in his heart, but at this moment, he still chose to force his face and smile. Yes, I also hope that Lord Kilian God Envoy will give us another chance for the Haitian demon sect. Our Haitian demon sect has always been extremely loyal to the Dark Temple. The back of Zago, the deputy master of the Black Sky Demon sect, bowed silently, and his lowered face was ferocious and terrifying. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1518. On the surface, he obeyed, but his heart was already furious to the extreme. But at this moment, he had to choose to restrain himself. The fury in his heart grew to the extreme, and the face he raised at last was full of flattery. Kill. The body of Zaku, the deputy master of the Black Sky Demon sect, soared into the air, and the speed became faster and faster, and the surrounding black fog thickened, shocking people's hearts. Ah, so strong, such a strong attack, I can't hold it anymore. Huck, don't come, don't come. This is the ultimate powerhouse of the Dark Camp, a random blow will kill us all. It's horrible, it's really scary. Who can save us, save us? Damn, why are there so many strong people in the Dark Camp? This strong man from the Dark Camp seems to be heading directly to the left battlefield, his goal is the left battlefield. Grass. I'm scaring Lao Zi to death. If such a strong person lands in front of us, who can bear it? It's a life. Who says it's not? Don't be too thrilling. To the point of horror. Facing the sudden attack of Zaku, the Vice Lord of the Black Sky Demon sect in the Dark Camp, the cultivators of the entire Light Camp retreated individually. Facing the absolute level gap, even just waving their hands, they were able to kill a large area. Fang Fan suddenly squinted his eyes flickered with brilliance, and his thoughts at this moment suddenly rose to the peak. He is naturally aware of the urgency of the current situation. If he is not careful, the entire army will be wiped out. Faced with the attack of the strong in the dark camp, Fang Fan must also take it seriously. Annie, stop him, 100 decoration cards. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and looked at the middle-aged man in the grey-black robe from the dark camp rushing over, his expression serious. No. I can't stop it, no matter how many decorations you give me this time, it's useless. I can't stop a move in front of him. He's at least 2 levels higher than me. The 7-colored little female dragon's head shrank inward, and the dragon's face could not help showing panic and nervousness. Obviously it was really frightened. The current situation is too bad, and it is reasonable to be unbearable. Fang Fan's complexion instantly sank. The colorful little female dragon is already the strongest combat power under his command, and it is also a famous 3-star sanctuary realm combat power. If she can't hold back even one move, you can imagine how fierce such an enemy is. Annie said that she is at least 2 levels stronger than her, that is to say, this cultivator from the dark camp wearing a grey robe is at least a 5-star sanctuary. According to the combat effectiveness of the legions and guards under my command, it is simply unmatched. There was a flash of eagerness in Fang Fan's eyes. Everyone is ready. Evacuate at any time. Fang Fan snorted secretly, his eyes tightened instantly. Now is not the time to show off, and to retreat appropriately is to avoid unnecessary losses. The 5-star sanctuary, Fang Fan really can't resist. He is ready to lead all the troops under his command into the small world of Shushan Pavilion to avoid a wave. To die foolishly? Unwise choice. When did Zaku's deputy lord of the Black Sky Demon sect become so shameless? He actually ended up slaughtering the elites of my light camp. There was a hearty scolding sound in the distance, and the Nangonglei messenger from the Temple of the Alliance of Light rushed over. His words were full of fury. As soon as he said that, the grey-black-robed powerhouse of the Haishan demon sect also stopped moving and confronted each other. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1519. Fang Fan's eyes scanned the circle, and there was some surprise in his eyes. He didn't expect that the envoy of the Temple of the Light Alliance would be willing to stand up at this time, and it seems that he is still on par with this strong man from the Dark Camp in terms of combat effectiveness. You must know that the grey-black-robed powerhouses of this Dark Camp should at least be 5-star sanctuaries after analysis. The Temple of the Alliance of Light is really still a hidden dragon and a crouching tiger. Fang Fan glanced at the eye-catching red robe on Nangonglei, and nodded silently. Humph. I don't know who it is. It turns out to be the Archbishop in red from the Temple of Light. Only you can't stop me. Zagu, the deputy lord of the Haishan demon sect, let out an angry roar, and then directly fought with Nangonglei. Nangonglei rushed over calmly, and immediately began to entangle each other. Master Fang Fan, guard the left wing. Please. Nangonglei, the envoy of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, gave Fang Fan a firm look, and then began to fight in the air without any scruples. Fang Fan secretly narrowed his eyes, his heart froze. The Archbishop in red? This Nangonglei messenger is the Archbishop in red in the Temple of the Alliance of Light. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth raised, and he secretly raised his head. Another purpose of his trip is to lurk into the Temple of the Alliance of Light. The initial goal is to get an Archbishop Dang Dang, and then he can get the rich rewards from the system. His target Archbishop is only a 4th-rank clergyman of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, and the red-clothed Archbishop is a higher level, a 3rd-rank clergyman. Fang Fan thought to himself, what the hell, isn't it just thighs? What the hell, wouldn't it be flattering to hug such a thigh? In the future, even if you sneak into the temple of the Alliance of Light, at least there will be a way. Thinking in Fang Fan's mind, he took a deep look at the battlefield in the sky above, and all kinds of thoughts frantically churned in his mind, gradually becoming real. My lord, what should we do now? Do you want to evacuate the whole army? Galen came back from a distance, wiped the blood on his face and asked. Fang Fan silently shook his head. The strong man from the dark camp has been intercepted by the Nangong Lei envoy, and the remaining rotten fish and shrimps, all wiped out. Pay attention to cleaning the battlefield, collecting cards and star cores. Fang Fan secretly drank, and the battle was started again. The battle on the left-hand battlefield has never ended from beginning to end. It comes again and again, repels again, and fights to the end again and again. Such thoughts churned in my mind and gradually became real. The battlefield at the left end is almost full of anger and battles. After a wave of attacks, in less than half an hour, the 3 million elites of the dark faction on the left side of the battlefield had already suffered millions of damages. Of course, Fang Fan's Human Emperor Legion and War Slave Legion were also injured, but, most of them were just injured, and there were not many who died in battle. At the beginning of the battle, Fang Fan had issued them all-round healing cards and supply cards of corresponding levels. The healing card instantly heals the injury, as long as it is not instantly killed, it can be restored. The supply card replenishes physical strength and energy to maintain high-intensity continuous combat. Coupled with the full-scale attack of several flying warships and a group of elite soldiers, the results of the battle are gradually expanding. In such a dense battlefield, the soldiers of the Heavy Machine Gun Corps do not need to deliberately aim at all, as many bullets can be fired to injure and kill as many enemies. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 1520. In addition, with more and more dead enemy troops, the effectiveness of the exclusive skill Sacrifice Summon of the Yellow Turban Peace Warlock Legion has been enhanced to the strongest. Accompanied by the sound of a sentence of incomprehensible incantations, the bloody skeleton soldiers got up from the ground one by one, and then fought bloody battles again and again. In the bloody battle, stand proudly, in the bloody battle, fight to the end, fight everything in the battle. The scene suddenly becomes horrifying, the scene suddenly becomes terrifying, the scene suddenly becomes oppressive. More and more corpses of elite cultivators from the Dark Faction Emperor Master Realm fell on the ground, and the casualties ranged from nearly 1 million to a real 1 million. 1.2 million. 1.5 million, more than half. The battlefield at the left end has completely collapsed. Crazy, this is an army of madmen, we are not their opponents, withdraw, quickly evacuate. Keeping your own life is the most important thing. Hukke, terrible, too terrifying, you can't even imagine how terrible it is, these cultivators of the light camp can't be killed at all, I clearly chopped off half of his head just now, but in an instant it's back again. This is a group of demons, they are all demons. Fighting demons, we are not worthy. We only deployed 3 million troops on the enemy's left battlefield, and now more than half of them are dead or injured. If we continue to fight, we will all die. But the deputy suzerain and the red-robed dark envoy are staring at us, we can't escape. As long as you are willing, there will be no battlefield you can't escape from. As long as we are united as one, everything will be fine. It's better to save your own life than to wait for death. If you want to die, I can't stop it, anyway, I'm going to slip away. The cultivators of the Dark Camp have always been known for being brave and fearless, but they are not impregnable walls, nor do they have indestructible bodies. They are all living beings, and they are all normal flesh and blood. When the proportion of casualties expands to a certain level, they will also fear, panic, and be at a loss, so that in the end they can only flee in humility. Such thoughts churned in my mind, and the desire to escape became even stronger. Death is like the wind, is it the greatest glory to die in battle? That's what I said, but when the bloody sword was placed on the neck, when bloody holes appeared on the body, when the pain made the complexion become hideous. When all these emerge, can you continue to persist in this idea? This is a route belonging to the army of the dark camp. It's overturned. Fang Fan smiled slightly, his eyes became brighter and brighter. At the left end of the battlefield, more than 1 million elites belonging to the dark camp fled in all directions, and the entire battlefield seemed to be revitalized. The army of the light camp, which could only be beaten passively before, began to fight back gradually, and their morale skyrocketed. But the elite of the dark faction who used to be as imposing as a rainbow are now a little slack. 1 bang, then decline, 3 exhaustion, this is probably the state at this moment. Although the troops of the light camp were a mess, after so long, the loose sand never completely disintegrated. On the contrary, they gradually gathered together after a lot of hard work. And the original seemingly powerful hammer actually cracked a corner at this moment. The defeat of the army of the dark camp on the left battlefield gave the practitioners of the entire light camp the hope of a decisive victory.